Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to land in the Vision Jet in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So here we are in our previous flight that we started in our first and second episode of this series. So as you can see, if we look at our map, we are approaching the descending point. So at this point, this dot, we will be starting our descent to our destination. So this is the descending checklist. As you can see, I still didn't reach 20,000 feet because this flight is pretty short and the Vision Jet takes a lot of time to land. Okay, perfect. Now before we actually start descent, we are going to check out our airport just to see where we're going to park. Okay. So here we are going to land, and we can easily park here. So you can see here some parking lots. So we can just land here and just taxi here. Okay. As you can see, you just heard that beep. That is the autopilot sound. That means that we reached the altitude that we set before. Okay. So as you can see, I reached 20,000 feet. And as I told you before, the alt button is still not pressed because we still didn't really reach 20,000 feet. But once we will reach 20,000 feet, as you can see, the alt button will be pressed. So we are just gonna wait for that to happen so I can show you. Before we start, I'm actually yeah. As you can see now, the alt button is pressed. So that means that we completed our climb and we are about to start our descent. So as you can see, I'll just go back to my aircraft, and yeah, we're pretty close to this dock. So before we actually start, I'm just gonna take a look at the checklist. As you can see, first we have to do some class letter AR, then we go elevation as protection. This protection will just have to have it on so that your altimeter doesn't get so the altimeter works, okay, so that it doesn't get caught in ice. Now let's take a look at the approach checklist. The only thing we actually need are flaps, which we can easily set up. For the autopilot, the only thing we have to do is actually select the altitude. So I'm gonna start selecting my altitude, which for the first waypoint I think will be, remembering that we are sea level, I think 6,000 feet it is a good altitude to start off. Now here, for example, I can set to 6,000 feet. Here I'm going to set it probably to 2,000 feet, and here I will obviously 0 feet. Just remember that when we approach, to always pay attention to the four red box that I'm going to show you later. So now we can start our descent. Press FLC, and as you can see, our plane is slowly descending. Now, unfortunately, the Vision Jet is a very fast climb, but a very slow climb, and a very fast descending. So you can see we are going over the speed limit almost, which is just. As you can see, we are descending pretty fast. We are already up 8, yeah, not bad. Okay, you can see 800, 1,800. Oh, yes. Yeah, my English was a bit bad. Okay. So as you can see, we set up our altitude and we are descending. No, we're not. Why are we not? And if your plane isn't descending, I suggest you to do it manually. Okay. Put your throttle to 0. So you see I am putting the throttle to 0 and slowly descending if your autopilot isn't descending. Okay. Good work. Doing a pretty fast descent. A lot of time. have to descend. I'm going to put our flaps now. They will help us slow down, so we are really fast. Perfect. So we are descending. I wouldn't say slowly, but we are descending. I will put the autopilot off. Oh, actually, possible. I didn't miss it. So now we have to turn. And so we are going to complete our descent checklist. Everything completed. The other thing that we have to look is for lights, which we already completed that, flaps we already turned that down, and airspeed, which we are going to do that. Now we are going to descend pretty quickly because we are very high compared to the runway. That was the autopilot fault, which I accidentally turned on. So just remember always to never push the yoke while you have your autopilot on. It will disactivate it, which you don't want, because then you will not descend. Okay, so I will slowly isn't the right word, but remember that the Vision Jet landing speed is around 120 knots, 130, maximum 140. So 140 knots, I would say go around. Okay, so I'm not sure if we're gonna do a go around here. I could do it just to show you guys how it is done, but we try not to it because it takes time. Okay. So here I'm going to set up flaps to max because we have to slow down really fast. We are slowly approaching our runway. Okay. And we are pretty high, too high. Okay, then put my throttle to idle. Never do that, except if it's going really fast, like I'm going to 170 knots, which is too much for a descending speed. Okay, so let's see. Gear down, can't do that too fast. I think I'm just going to turn around. That is good because then I get to show you guys how to do it. Okay. So yeah, don't do like me. Always pay attention to your autopilot. Okay, so yeah, we are really high. So I mean, we are too high. I mean, we can't really do it. Yeah, as you can see, that's the runway, and we are. Yeah, we can do a quick go around. I can show you guys how it's done. But perfect. So we are going to do a go around here. So as you can see, that's the runway. We are too high. I'm just going to click this. Zoom out. Here you can see we are almost approaching the runway. We are too high. We're just going to descend. Turn off our autopilot. Don't need that anymore. Okay, perfect. Now we can slowly start our go around. We will first go over our runway. Okay, so that's how go around is done. So this isn't really a tutorial, so I didn't show you how to land correctly. But remember, I mean, a go around could always happen, so I'm gonna also teach you guys how to do a go around. So as you can see, we are too high to land. We are basically over the runway, actually. Okay. Can't land. Okay. So here we can start turning around and basically doing a small circle to just get here. Okay. Small circle while descending, and we can get back in the route here. Okay, at this waypoint. Okay, so that should be our route. Remember, when you're doing a go around, always try to meet up with your route. So do a circle and meet with your route. That is the easiest way to do a go around and the safest way, so that you don't miss the runway. Okay, so you have the right measures and the right heading. Okay. So we are turning. Doing a slow go around. So now I'm just gonna face. Just gonna maintain this heading for a bit, because we can't turn right now because we wouldn't reach this point, and we would be too close to the runway. Okay, so there is a go around checklist actually that we can follow, but I mean, it doesn't really change anything on the landing procedure. Okay, so yeah, so as you can see, it says airspeed 3 low. Okay, we are going to airspeed and lower our gear. Okay, gear down. Good time to gear up. Now we're gonna start to really slow turn, so that we can align with the runway. Put our flaps to 50%, so that we don't slow down too much. So I was really slow, it's going around 75. And sometimes you can see autopilot, co-pilot, that helps you some suggestions, which I strongly suggest you to follow. Like for example, a couple of seconds ago, the co-pilot just told me to that the speed was too slow and I have to accelerate. That is a very good suggestion, and you could go in a stall and crash the plane. So, okay, always follow those suggestions. The only suggestion that you don't have to follow is the ATC one. Sometimes the co-pilot tells you to ask the ATC before taxiing, which isn't really important if your main goal is just chilling. If your goal is to be realistic, then I strongly suggest you to follow the ATC. Okay, so now we are going to turn and align with our runway. As you can see, we aren't really aligned. Yeah, I think our approach was too close to the runway, but we can still do it.
Sink rate, sink rate, sink rate, sink rate.
Max. Slowly descend and approach our runway. Perfect.
Sink rate.
This won't
sink
be
rate.
A good landing.
Sink rate.
Spoiler.
Sink rate.
Okay. Now that we are close to our runway, we are ready to touch down. Slowly descend. Approach the runway. As you can see, those are the 4 lights that I was talking to you about. If they are
sink
4
rate.
white
Sink
lights,
rate 500.
then you're
Pull up.
High.
Pull up.
If you
Pull
are
up.
If they are
Pull
4
up.
red lights, then you are too low. And if they are 2 red lights and 2 white lights, then you're perfect. As you can see, they're both white, but I am, yes, as you can see, one of them is red. Now they're both, one is, yeah, now they're all red. That means I am almost in a stall, but we landed. Now brake while, and now when you hit 20 knots, take off the brakes and you can park. So now we are going to taxi. I don't really have to do anything. The only thing you have to do is get off the runway as soon as possible so that other planes can land safely. Here I am going to turn here and taxi to our gate. Now you can really choose the gate if you are not talking with ATC and you're not planning on doing a realistic flight. So for beginners, I really suggest you guys just pick your gate. And which gate? Suggest a small gate. I mean the Vision Jet doesn't need a big gate. Okay, small airports most importantly. Because big airports have big planes, and big planes are really to handle when taxiing especially. Okay, so as you can see, we just approach our parking spot. We can choose the best parking. Really? Okay, you can park whenever you want. I will just park here. Okay, here next to this electrical thing. Here. Okay. Now this isn't really a parking spot, but you with the Vision Jet you can really park whatever you want. Okay. So now that we parked the plane, you can start the turning off checklist, which isn't really a checklist. You just have to turn everything off. Okay. Turn this off. Then go here. Turn starting from the right. Turn every single eyes protection off. Every single pro beat off. Every single light off. Before turning our batteries and generators, turn your engine off. So click the engine button and click the engine on to off, and then click the, my bad, you first have to click the engine off and then click the engine button. Once your engine is off, you can hear it, as you can see. You can turn off your generators and your batteries, and as you can see, your plane is completely off. Now we can leave our plane. Okay, by doing that. Doors will open. We can leave our plane. The first thing we have to do is put our shocks on, put our engine covers on, close the door, and put the pitot covers, which are these things. Okay, pitot covers. Okay, this one you have to put them off before you take off, so that you have the speedometer. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe. Bye bye.